Just tell me when we are
Hello,
ready.
everybody. We are here with Moshiya, our friend from Truth Revelations, and we want to use a little time of his life to speak about the searching, the founding of the truth, and what we can really understand of his teachings, and trying to put in order our lives with these concepts, which are philosophical and also technical, mathematical. So, Moshiya, welcome.
Welcome to everybody, and I'm pleased to be here. And sadly, I don't speak the language. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit easier for most people to hear it in their own language. But I would like to start with a principle that is essential to understand why and how the truth is hidden for most people that are searching. And even those who think they have found are often losing their faith in what they have found because it still doesn't bring the answers, not the answers that their personality is looking for. And what I say means that when we are searching to find answers of our personal desire for it. If I would say that if I look for happiness, then it's our concept of happiness that we are looking for. If we are looking for truth, then it must fit our idea about truth. Otherwise, we reject it. So we are very selective, and everybody has his own point of view. That's why it is said, and that's what they call in Buddhism a koan, which is, for instance, the one hand clapping, which is a concept that most people will knock out their ability to find a place in their mind to answer what that means, a one hand clapping. When I say only by searching will you find, but by searching you cannot find it, seems to most people like a contradiction. But what it means is indeed that by our personalities, we are looking for our personal answers. Those answers are always conditioned. And in our search, we discover that our personalized searching doesn't or never gives us a full picture of the truth. So in that search, we discover that we must let go of our personalized ideas to be able to be open for the truth, which is a very difficult thing to do. Therefore, the truth has been lost, because even if we read books like the Bhagavad Gita, like the Vedas, like the Bible, we read and we understand the words by our own experience of the meanings of those words. If I say, for instance, this is a cup, then another form of cup would be your type of cup, to which you recognize this cup. The truth hasn't got those restrictions. There is no dark side to the truth, because light, our personal light, always casts a shadow. Everything in the material world If we put a light onto it, it casts a shadow. And the shadow is that bit of not knowing. We can see the light shines on an object, so we can see the external thing and we can name this, but we don't really know yet what is inside the cup or what the cup is made of, because we only see the solidity of it. Yeah. So if we refer this to Plato's cave, then we would be able to say that the shadows on the wall is our reality. And we can see, now we know that if we look back, we see the puppets on the screen, on the stage, that project the images on the wall by the light that is behind it. But the shadow is indeed like the light that shines on it and leaves a dark space on this side. We see the shadows as reality, but we don't see the cup. We don't see the puppets that are projecting the shadow on the wall. I could say, for an example, there is one type of light, and we could call that, maybe not the right name, but for explaining, we could call that the light is everywhere at the same time. That light is not moving. It is present everywhere, all at the same time. It is the connection of everything. If we take one point of it, we could call it 0 point energy. 0 point. Each point in it is at the same time the whole field. We say that is one dimension.
Yes.
One dimension.
This kind of light is reachable. Can we be conscious of this kind of essential light?
Yes.
How can we perceive, and what's the way that scientific world, mathematical,
yes, I will come to that in a second.
Okay.
I first want to show you that one light we could compare with the all-seeing God.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter where you touch that light, it is connected with the whole thing. Yes. And everything has its life through it. Now, this one thing has in it a nature of love, compassion, and wisdom. That love and wisdom is a 2D projection. It's flat. And that flat is that structure that I have shown with the stars. That's a flat, this 8 is really flat, like 2 dimensions only.
Yes.
If I spin it, it becomes 3-dimensional. If I spin it around its axis, it becomes 3-dimensional. Now, what happens if this paper is that 2-dimensional flat bit?
Yes.
And it starts to spin. Spin causes a magnetic field and an electrical field at the same time, electromagnetic field. So what you have is the 2-dimensional plane has a projection outwards here, like a sphere here, and a sphere here. And the energy flows from this side to the bottom side, from this side to the bottom side on that two-dimensional plane, which makes it a three-dimensional shape, which is basically a holographic projection from that flat two-dimensional plane.
Very,
That two-dimensional,
nice.
that one dimension, that light that is everything, is divided by 7. If light, if you have a prism and you project light in it, then the prism bends the different light colors, the 7 rays of different colors.
Yes.
That means that there is one light that you cannot bend because it is one, and the others are bent. And bending causes it to go round, circular. But your essence is still in the center. In the heart of that projection, that two-dimensional projection, in the heart is still original light, pure light, undifferentiated, undivided light. And when the undivided light is separated in its different rays, we get emotions. Because as soon as we are disconnected from the love and compassion and wisdom, the highest we can have is knowledge, not wisdom, because it's broken up. We don't know how it fits together anymore. Fear is only because we are not connected with that all-knowing. We don't have fear when we are all-knowing. We don't have desire when we have everything. We don't have greed when we are everything. So only when the one light is divided by 7 do we get emotions. Impurity. You can see that technically if you take a calculator and you really divide the 1 by 7. When you do that, you see the numbers that you are familiar with as the Solfeggio numbers. You are familiar with those, with, what's his name? Michael Rodin. Yes, correct. And the only ones that are missing is the 3, the 6, and the 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's your structure when the light is broken off, bent. And what happens when it bends? It starts to make circles because it's bending and turning back on itself. So it encapsulates that singularity, that purity in the center, your center, your center, and that's what you call your soul. That is still that one pure light. It's encapsulated in matter.
Excuse me?
Encapsulated in matter. So you have the light that becomes encapsulated into, and the center is still your pure light.
Yes.
Because that is it never changes. That is pure. The soul is pure.
Yes.
It is the broken off, the projection from 1D to a 2D that then becomes like this, a sphere here and a sphere here. Spirit and matter. And the vesica piscis in the middle. there's nice pictures where they've seen the galaxy, the disk of the galaxy, and a sphere above it and a sphere below it. That's really a copy of the principle that is there.
Nice, very nice.
So that's
we can approach this pure light through knowing the pattern.
Yeah, so that's the technical side of the light. So there is a light that has no speed because it is everywhere at the same time without any delay, without anything. That's the field that is at the same time this side and at the same time the other side. It is all knowing, all loving, all compassion. The 2D plane is the structure, the photo, the film layer through which light is projected and makes the 3D shape. So it's
Nice.
very similar to how we see a hologram, except that the hologram projects the material world that we see, instead of the material film projecting only a light image. It's the same principle, but the other way around. Now, in all those things, there is a lot of mathematics. A lot of principles, and there is laws and rules in the movement of those principles, because once that light is encapsulated, it needs to reflect itself. And when you reflect from the center to the outward, you always have an opposite on the other side. No matter what direction you look, you always have opposites. That's the world of duality. There's always opposites in the duality.
Yes.
And that's because the magnetic field too is a positive and a negative. And it flows because it eventually seeks the way back to the center. That's the same with a magnet. In the center of a magnet, there is no magnetism. There's only unity. In every magnet, in the center of a magnet, there is no magnetism. Same principle. Because all the principles are a reflection in nature. Now, if we put this technical thing aside, and we look at, for instance, and I can take the Vedas and all other stories, what the Vedas or the Bible, for instance, says, we said we had the split off between Adam and Eve. The male Adam was both male and female. And when God took one side of Adam, he split feminine and male side, positive and negative, male, female, black, white, all the different opposites. That's what is an expression of it. At some point in the Bible, God asked Adam to name the animals, to give a name by their nature, so that he could control the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
What he really is saying is, the animals compared to the zodiac, the animals compared to Noah's Ark, are the emotions. They need to be named so you know what they are, so you can control them instead of them controlling you. That's really what the story is talking about. The animals, in real animals, they have those 7 forces. It helps you to survive in this world. Fear might help you when a lion tries to catch you, so you can run away. But we must rule over the animals. And the animals is our emotional natures, because the zodiac are a representation of those animals which affect us emotionally. So by making our emotions and the connections with our brain, we start to understand them, our emotions and their shortcomings. So therefore, we must become rulers of the animal nature that we have, which is emotions. And in the journey, we are traveling, because the Ark of Noah, the vessel, the boat, but the vessel is us. This is our body, that is our vessel. And inside of us is the animal nature. And we travel our galactic ocean, our life, sometimes with the feeling that things just happen to us, like we are rudderless. We have no steering. We try to steer, but things happen to us. The zodiac, which turns around, has also influence on the animal nature in us, because it's reflecting. Like the moon has an effect on us, specifically clearly with women. Women menstruate on the basis of the cycle of the moon. And if a lot of women are together, they start to harmonically menstruate in the same period, because that's the nature. And of course, there is a lot of principles in those movements which cause the vesica piscis, the golden ratio. All those things are part of that structure, which cause the reason why plants grow in a certain way, with the branches on the golden ratio. All those principles are inside that structure, which dictate the principles in nature.
Yes.
Can you follow me?
Okay. Yes, we will do a little pause, just a second.
Yes.